Their love was too beautiful, sexy, and passionate for this world. Only his strong arms could tame the fury within her. Welcome to, as MrSteveGamer put it, tragedy, no, heartbreak at Ash River. One of the things, before we get into the meat and bones of this replay, there's a theme with this one, by the way. We'll get to that in a moment. Wait, you already noticed by the thumbnail, I'm sure. It's like a trashy romance novel. Anyway, first off, before I get into the thing that I was going to get into before the thing that I was going to get into, I know, look how complex I'm getting now. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for the MrSteveGamer merch shirt. Cone Waifu is looking fantastic on my chest. And I would do a video on it, but then I'd have to break out the camcorder, and I haven't done that in a while. And I'm afraid that you would lust after my precious body. Anyway, let's keep it PG-13 in here. Another big thank to Ash from the Ash, he's just Ash now, right? Yeah, Ash YouTube channel. Not only have I been a fan for a while, but now I really appreciate what he did, giving me a shout out on his channel, telling people that he might be very tired of War Thunder, but there are some people out there that he felt like recommending, and I happened to be first on his list. I really appreciate that. So, where do we go from here? Ash River, baby. Welcome to the thing I was going to talk about before we talk about the replay, and that is, I've noticed a lot of the classic maps from War Thunder, the really old maps that have been so popular for low tier, are now much more popular in the higher tiers, and it has to be a result of the map filter. And that really makes sense. People enjoy things that they're familiar with. People have a little bit less affinity for new thing, although people have less affinity for new thing. I sound like one of those like Korean randomly generated news articles. He having less of the affinity for new thing did put as like and to be Sasquatch. But no, are you gone yet? Have I lost you? Look at Steve boodling on some fools here. That KV-1 is not in the best position. His armor is just as good at close range as it is at long range, and his gun is not suited to sniping engagements. So KV, grow a pair please, and be bold. I know I've been there. I've been that guy that finds a sniping spot and tries to use every vehicle from that spot, but you really belong on the front lines. However, Mr. Steve showing us how it's done with the M10 in a perfect position, angling his armor nicely, and I need to shut up about the replay and talk more about the map filter. So, the dislike category is no doubt culling many maps from rotation, reducing their popularity significantly. The ban feature available to premium account holders as a very nice perk for having a premium account to go along with your increased RP and SL earnings, your ability to adjust the wear on your camouflage, and now the ability to ban a map from rotation. You can never see a certain map again. And a lot of people are banning or disliking a lot of the new maps and a lot of the more complicated maps. I've seen Vietnam twice since the new map filter has been added, and a lot of maps I've not seen at all. I am happy to have played a few matches on the newest map. I wasn't a fan at first, but I held off judgment because, again, people don't like things that are new, and it doesn't feel good to run around like a chicken with your head cut off Although, I'll try and say it a little more clearly this time, I do appreciate you early adopters that embrace the new for what it is, seeing the potential and exploring the possibilities. I might be too old and bitter for that most of the time, but I'm glad I picked up the F-89s. I've been having a total blast with them. Now, let's get back to Mr. Steve, because he's going to have an absolutely fantastic game that, as we've heard, is a heartbreaker. So this saucy lass, the M10, has been slugging her heavy, huge tracks of firepower at her saucy sloped armor around, flashing her eyes at the enemy, shaking her drivetrain and rattling those tracks, and just getting all them panzers riled up. They've tried to rise to the occasion of perforating her armor, but that frontal plate has laughed at them to this point. The few shots that have actually connected amidst her saucy mincing, and yet this minstrel is a hot-headed lady, not fully finished in development, but leaving the development field early ahead of her sis M18, who is destined to take her place as the paramour, the star of many a young Panzerkampfwagenmann's eye, and yet with her powerful cannon she is winning and perforating the hearts of tanks both Soviet and Axis. Let us not ask too many questions why they've both come to call this evening. Our lady is a popular woman, although her honor is not to be brought into question. Again, have we mentioned the cannon? Anyway, trashy romance aside, I'm still in my my Smutosaurus Rex phase. I won that t-shirt in a contest that I shan't go into describing here. But, safe for work, entirely conversation now. This is going to be an incredible match, and if you've been paying attention to what Mr. Steve is doing here, he has been showing us the way to play the M10 on Ash River or any map that has a rise. Your angled armor is going to be much more effective if the enemy has to shoot up at you or at longer ranges. The M10, with just enough maneuverability to be able to poke in and out, teasing the enemy. Okay, stop. And giving them few chances to aim carefully at the M10's somewhat, how should I put this? Somewhat noticeable weak spots about the area of the gun mantlet, turret ring, cheeks of the turret, and of course the upper frontal plate. Even the lower cast structure can be penned easily if the enemy has a chance to aim, and that Chino Sherman, a Chinese Sherman, my little toddler Brooklyn tank baby. I'm working on a little something to make her presence a little more constant on the channel, but I won't give too much away about that. I have money has traded hands, but I won't get too much into that. But I'm excited. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm rambling, aren't I? Now, Mr. Steve, gonna go for a bit of a fly out in the P-38, and all of the P-38s are enjoyable aircraft, even in mixed battles. They're not quite the meta aircraft when compared with the P-47 for its great loadout, or things like the F-8F, obviously at a higher battle rating, for its multi-role capability where you drop your bombs or your rockets and then act as a very effective fighter interceptor. But no, the P-38, a very fun aircraft with a decent armament that's easy to aim, and on this particular model, 6 Bazooka Joe rockets mounted just under the central fuselage, which, as you see, very easy to aim, but somewhat more difficult to get critical damage, even kills with. Targeting SPAA is a good option for those, as you can punch them out quickly, and of course Mr. Steve has shown us here that his aim is familiar and good with these rockets. Now, he'll be the first to tell you that he's not the most skilled in the air, but he shows here with the P-38 that he at least knows what he's doing, as the easiest low-hanging fruit in the sky appears. Hear the beautiful engine sounds of a Ju-87. Yep, sorry bud, you didn't stand a chance. Huge wing surface area, slow rate of movement, a distinct and loud engine, a fairly useless rear gunner. What else? Besides their popularity, makes the Ju-87 such an easy target in ground battles. Maybe the fact that their pilots tend to be always diving toward the battlefield as well, although, to be fair, that guy wasn't. He was sort of flying in a straight line, until it became a spiral with his wing shorn from the aircraft by some good old American 50 cals and some borrowed A&M2s. Plinking a few rockets, a couple I should say, at the Chinese Sherman doesn't cause any serious damage, showing that good old American bias has shifted to another nation again. And if you're looking for something to grind out the early ranks of the Chinese tech tree, I can already recommend the M4A4 Sherman. It is technically a unique vehicle in the game, so you're getting more than just a quality grinder, and with a 3.3 or 3.7? I think it's 3.7 battle rating. Yes, no longer a 5.0, because someone informed whoever's in charge of BRs at Gaijin HQ, who seems to have been out of touch since at least the Italian vehicle update, that this was not the 76mm Sherman, which, by the way, I would love to see as another premium, as it is an even better grinder than the Rank 3 M4A4. But I digress. Things have gotten desperate, the enemy frothing at the mouth here, raging, and in their rage they've risen. Okay. Before it gets any more weird, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to ram. That's right, the Ram Mark II easily takes down the remaining crew of that infamous Chinese Tiger Sherman that I've been talking so much about. It looks like a Sherman with a splotch of, like, you know when you eat too much rice? Well, anyway, we won't talk about that too much, but I'm in danger. That's right, Rami. Oh my gosh, my little toddler has a stuffed lamb called Lammy, and that is her life partner. She has to do everything with that little Lammy, and if it's ever not around, where's Lammy? Where's Lammy? Well, let's get back to where's your pen? Now, the Ram Mark II is not the best medium tank, but it has something like 80 millimeters of cast armor on the upper side of the hull, which is just crazy. Which may start to explain why that that high velocity 50mm round did not go through, but it doesn't finish explaining it either. Another round hits the rear armor to no effect. What's going on here? Is this the famous YouTuber bias? I assure you, as a YouTuber, there is no such thing. But it seems to be working quite well for Mr. Steve here, as he was live streaming this, and you can watch his stream. It was a fun live stream throughout, and this particular match shows up from this point on in one of his stream highlights videos that you can find on his channel. So I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. Feel free, be encouraged to check out Mr. Steve. Also, Yuri there absorbing the entire spalling effect from Mr. Steve's 57mm armor piercing rounds that had punched through the upper frontal plate of that what is that, a T-50, fairly easily, as you do with its roughly 110 mil pen at that range. And yet Yuri's chest, burly enough with sufficient application of vodka to absorb all of the spalling of that one, leaving the gunner unharmed. Of course, not for the follow-up shot. But now, as the action has been so fast-paced, Mr. Steve under heavy fire here and not going to survive for long, and yet he takes his shots, and he tanks his shots. As one more round takes out the Panzer IIIM, if I'm not mistaken, and I probably am mistaken. I'm really bad with my Panzer III designations. Panzer IIIJ? Anyway. An actual Panzer IIIM takes him down by what looks to have been a shot through the flat part of the gun mantlet, which is indeed a perfectly acceptable weak spot to aim for. Now, himself in a Sherman, this one a Tiger in its own heart, and with debouches to match the mighty mane of the lion, a Liger perhaps. It's pretty awesome. Pretty much the sweetest thing ever. I can't remember how to quote that. I didn't watch it a dozen times. But he is about to deliver dinner to some fat lards on the Axis team and encourage them to eat up. Open up your mouth and be fed BT5. It's time for an overhaul. See you in the hangar, buddy. Another shot into his side armor, and this time I got no words for you, man. What's the ping and packet loss at? Oh, I guess we can't see it in a replay now, can we? As Mr. Steve finally does get perforated in the rear. Easy now. Heating him up, setting him afire as you do. Opening up on the enemy potato truck with quite a bit of machine gun fire to no real effect. How much vitality does that crew have? More hits, this time eaten up by the wooden armor of the side panels. Stalinium wood, Stalin wood confirmed. And that will be the last chance Mr. Steve has to make a difference in this match at the end, standing alone and taking down quite a few enemies with him. In any event, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and again, if you're not familiar with MrSteveGamer, not only does he have a fantastic meme-tastic War Thunder channel with other content as well, I've also interviewed him, so check out the interviews playlist on my channel if you are so inclined. If not, well, look forward to more awesome replays and feel free to send in your own. Join the Discord, there's a channel just for that. Link in the description below. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.